So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to apply your makeup the correct way. It's really step by step and beginner friendly. So let's start. I'm going to start by hydrating my lip with some lip balm and then top it off with lip oil to just seal in the hydration. And then I'm going to prime my skin with my e.l.f. Power Grey Primer. So this really just grips the makeup and is really good for dry skin. I'm going to let that dry down. Then I move to my next step, which is color correcting. I use this Kelvin concealer to correct my dark circles or everywhere that I think that are just like a bit darker than my normal skin tone. I'm just going to use that to correct them and properly blend them out, which is around my mouth and underneath my eye, to just to just correct all those darkness there. Then I'm just going to try to like blend it out properly. And then next I'm going to be using my L'Oreal True Match foundation in the shade C11. A bit of this at the back of my hand so that I can have control of how much or how little I'll be applying on my face. Just take a little bit and then I'll start applying. If you notice, I'm avoiding like immediately under my eye, and also I'm putting a little foundation on my forehead and on my nose. Those are the places that I like to use, like probably what is left off. Just take a little bit. You can see I'm not touching the foundation. A little bit on the brush and then go over it so that I have a little bit of coverage there, but not a lot of foundation. Blush application, and please, whatever liquid you are using, make sure you put it at the back of your hand or a palette like this so that you can have control of how much you are putting in your face. And I feel cream blush is best to have like a control over cream blush than powder blush, because if you apply too much of cream blush, you can always go over it with your foundation brush and then you correct. Do you understand? By going over it with your foundation brush to reduce the intensity of the blush. And I'm not doing contour because the foundation I use is already darker than my normal skin tone, so that would just automatically serve as a contour to my face, because when I start to like highlight and in that place would just looks like I contoured. It's a bit of my nose because I just like the way it looks warm and nice. And then I'm going to use these two concealer on my face. This is a bit darker than this, so I'm going to use this first. I like to do my highlight in two stages. One that is a bit closer to my skin tone, and then one to like really highlight. Please take note of all of these placements where I placed my concealer, and then I'm just going to start blending it out. I'm going to leave the second. I told you I'm going to be doing the highlighter in two stages, so the second one is the one I'm going to leave on my face. This one I'm just blending it out immediately. And then I'm taking this, I'm just going to take a little bit of this concealer I use here, then blend it upward towards this place, and then using it to like give my face a lift. Same thing in this place, taking it up, not all the way to my temples because I don't want it to be too wide. At the same time, I want it to look lifted. I'm blending just a little bit out because I want to leave the ones at the middle for them to get tacky while I blend the rest of the concealer, and then I'm going to go back to my foundation brush for my forehead so that we just blend really well the foundation with the concealer. Doesn't look like harsh lines or where my concealer stopped or where my foundation starts. I don't really like using a lot of highlight on my forehead these days, just a little bit. I'm going to just blend this now because it has been there for a while. And also, as you can see, I did not cream contour my nose, but because the foundation is a bit darker, so with just highlighting, it automatically looks like I did contour, and I did not. Because if I would contour, I would normally use that shade. So just using it to like using it as foundation and then do a little bit of like reverse contour just makes it look like I really contoured my nose. And then the next thing, I'm going to use this Beauty by AD concealer in the shade Bad 10. This concealer is really creamy. I like it. And then I'm going to just put this here and let it cook. Literally, I'm going to just use my hand fan out to fan it out for a few seconds and then we'll be back to blend it. I'm going to just start blending it out with the same beauty blender, just another side, to blend out the concealer, and it has been sitting there for a while, so it's already thick, and I can control it a bit more because it is thick, so it will just blend where I want it to go. It won't like go everywhere. And I already prep another beauty sponge in my Merak setting powder. I think that is the shade cinnamon, to set my eye. I actually use a lot of powder here because I don't want to be going back into the powder, but I set it small by small. But if you're a beginner, I suggest you use small setting powder at a time. But because I know what I'm doing, you will see that I would melt everything in to my skin and it doesn't look like too much powder. So I'm just going to set everywhere I did. I put my concealer. I'm just going to set everything, and then now I'm going to try to use the beauty blender to properly push in the product into the skin, and yeah, make sure everywhere it's set because I'm not baking, guys. This is setting. It looks like a lot of powder, but no, it's not baking. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm just going to go into my press powder next. I'm just making sure that all the powders like is absorbed in the skin and there's no excess powder left on my face. I'm using that V Beauty pressed powder. It's a cool tone powder, so I'm just using it to where I would normally contour as my contour. I'm using it there on my cheeks, and then I'm also going to use it for my nose contour because I already have like a guide from the reverse contour. So I'm just going to use this powder to like set the nose contour. This is powder contouring to set the nose contour there. And then I'm using this mineralized powder from Nuban. This has like a really red undertone, and that's my undertone. So I'm just going to put it everywhere on my blush. Just only I'm just going to avoid only where I highlighted. That's it. But everywhere else I'm using it. And that's my CPD blush. I'm using that orange shade. That's like the perfect shade for my skin, and I love it. I'm using that shade there. So after this blush, we are going to just spray our face and make sure everything is melted. This is my Mismetics
setting spray, silhouette setting spray, and it's a dewy setting spray. Guys, I told you I have a dry skin, so this dewy spray is really good for my skin. If you have a oily skin, then you can definitely use the matte one. You can see how dewy, how wet my face looks, guys. I promise you it's not wet. It's already dry. It's just dewy and it just melts all that powder in. That's what it does. So we're just going to bake here. I'm baking my under eye for it's just a bit on my forehead.
So I'm going to use this benign fan white on my lid.
So the primer just grips and then makes the color pop on your face, on your eyelid. The eyeshadow pops well. So we are moving to the eyeshadow, but first let's set our brow bone with the same shade with the concealer that we use to highlight our brows. I'm going to use the same shade to set my brow bone in place, and then I'm going to just blend out the eyeshadow primer because it has creased. And please do not set any crease. That's what I was saying in the video. Do not set any crease. Make sure you blend it out. Setting crease just means that when you put like a cream product where you want to apply a powder product on top of it, make sure there's no lines in there. You know your skin has lines normally, so when there's no lines there, you just blend out the lines so you cannot see it anymore. It's like smooth, and then you can put powder on it. Just the meaning of setting creasing. And then I'm going to just start with dark shade in the in the powder palette to do my transition. So I'm going to start from the front. Guys, this is pretty explanatory. I'm going to start from the front and then go back to the back and then start collecting it together, leaving the lid. They're just using it as a transition at the mid. You can see where I'm putting it at the middle. Just do exactly what I did and you'll be good.
So I'm going to be using this brown shade in my Merak palette. This brown has, I don't even know the undertone of the brown. It has like a purplish undertone. I'm just going to put that on my lid. So I'm going to use a darker shade actually from my powder palette, really dark, to smoke it out a little bit, like at the outer corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the under eye. Put this really dark here and then put this one here. I'm going to use this to like clean up. So I'm just going to line my lash line with this DD line liquid liner, and then my bottom lash lined with my Merak charcoal pencil. As you can see, it's already small, well loved. So I'm going to use this Fit Me to like set all the loose powder in. So instead of dusting it off, I'm just going to like press it in, apart from the fallout from the eyeshadow. So apart from the eyeshadow fallout, I'm just going to press it in. Okay guys, let me show you how to do a lip combo, a nude lip combo for dark skin. I'm just going to start with my brown lip gloss, lipstick. This is a lip stain. This is the Beyond Beauty lip stain in, what's the color, 46. I would normally line with pencil, but I don't want to use a lot of product, so I'm just going to line with this brush to line my lips. I'm going to use this brown as well because I just feel this is not, it's not really dark, so I'm going to use a little bit of that just at the perimeter, so I can overline a little bit. And then I'm going to use this avour lip thing, Nude, just at the center. Use this gloss on it. This is brown gloss and this is nude gloss. Both are from Girls Corner. The brown first.